Math homework helpers, it's time for math homework helpers, oh yeah! Math homework helpers, it's time for math homework helpers, oh yeah! Multiply, divide, add or subtract, figure what the answer will be. You can do it with a little help from your friends here on TV. Math homework helpers, it's time for math homework helpers, oh yeah! Math homework helpers, it's time for math homework helpers, oh yeah!
Hello, all you first graders out there in TV land, and welcome to Math Homework Helper's How-to-Hotline. My name is Max.
And I'm Mr. Tang.
And we're here to help you guys, well, of course we're here to help you guys by showing you some of the math stuff you're working on right now in school. So here we go, Mr. Tang, what do we got?
All right, so first grade friends, this past month in Number Corner, we're introduced to telling time to the hour using both digital and analog clocks. So we're going to take a look and review some of that work. Do you know how to tell time, Max?
Oh, sure. I just check out where the sun is and see if it's windy outside, and then look to make sure there's enough dirt on my toes, and I can tell you right then and there it's probably around 3 o'clock.
Well, for those of us who can't tell time by looking at the sun, we use clocks.
Oh yeah, I could do it that way too.
So here is an example of an analog clock, and here is an example of a digital clock.
Cool.
So we have a couple examples here where some of our time is given to us on one clock, and we just have to be able to tell what time it is on both clocks.
Oh, nice.
All right, so it looks like our digital one is given to us. Can you read that for us, Max?
That is 7 o'clock.
7 o'clock. So that means if we wanted to show that on this analog clock, I know my analog clocks have 2 hands on it, a long one that represents the minutes, and then a short one that represents the hour. So if we have here 7 o'clock, Max, do you know what time that is?
On the analog?
It's like around dinner time. That's what I was going for.
Oh, got you, right, yeah. Well, that's my bedtime, but I wasn't sure.
All right, so 7 o'clock on the analog, let's see. Our hour hand is going to be facing the 7, and hour hand is a shorter one. So we have 7 o'clock here.
Hey, that's a nice hand.
Thank you. And what about our minute hand?
Oh, this is the tough one because, let's see, it's at 0. And there's no zeros up there, so we have to remember what that really means, right?
Yeah, exactly. And first graders, what we reviewed in Number Corner for this month, we saw that when we want to represent 0 minutes, it's going to point directly at the 12. So all the ones we're looking at today, our minute hand is going to be pointing at the 12.
Oh, nice.
And then something that we're going to talk about later is that each of these numbers, the 1, 2, 3 on the clock, it represents every 5 minutes. So then in a whole clock, we have 60 minutes.
Very cool.
But for today, we're just going to focus on the 0 minutes.
I like the sound of that.
So that would be
We're breaking it down.
7 o'clock. All right, let's take a look at the next one. All right, looks like we're given the time written in word form. So now we have to be able to show that on analog and digital.
Oh, wow.
Which one do you want to start with, Max?
Let's start with digital because I feel like that might be a little easier.
Okay. So how would I show 8 o'clock on a digital clock?
But I think you have to start with the 8 because the 8 is great, and you put that on the left.
On the left.
And
So on the left side represents the hour, and like we said earlier, the minutes that we're working with today
are all zeros. So 2 zeros.
2 zeros. 8 o'clock. All right. So now let's go ahead and figure out how to show that on an analog clock.
So we could start with the long arm because that's the easy one. The minute, we know that it's going to be straight up again.
Yep. So we'll start with our minute hand, which is going to point to that 12, which represents 0 minutes.
Gotcha.
All right. Now is the tricky part. Where do you think that hour hand is going to point?
Okay, so let's see. It's got to go to the 8, but I got to find the 8. I can't see it. Oh, there it is. There it is.
We found our 8 over here.
It's between the 9 and 7, right where it should be.
So as you're doing this, boys and girls, you have to be sure to to differentiate between your long hand and your short hands. And
Maybe on the next one we'll do the hour first because we do write it hour then minutes.
Ooh, I like that.
That might help.
All right, so we got our 8 o'clock here. Ooh, now we have our time on a digital clock, and we have to represent it on the, we have it on an analog clock. We have to represent it on a digital, and we have to be able to write that out underneath
We got to
that
tell
clock.
what the time is.
Right.
Oh, man. This might be tricky.
So what do you think?
I don't know, Mr. Tang.
We have two hands, one pointing at the 12, one pointing at the 3.
Okay, that's right. Okay, so the shorthand is the hour hand.
Mm-hmm.
And the shorthand is pointing right at 3.
3.
So that means it's 3. And then because the minute hand is at the 12 straight up, that means it's 0 minutes, which means it's 3 o'clock.
3 o'clock.
Woohoo!
Good job, Max.
I'm starting to get the hang of this.
All right, well, how about this? Let's see, maybe I'll give one to you to test you out, and then you could give one to me to test me out.
Ooh, I like this idea.
All right, I'm going to make it as hard as possible for you.
Oh, boy. Mr. Tang?
Let's think about, I got a really good one. How about this one?
Oh, man. Oh, boy. Okay. All right. I can do this. Focus.
Start with what you know, Max. Start with what you know.
Right. Okay, well, I can totally read that so I know that it's going to be 10 o'clock.
All right.
So I can put that down there. Now I just got to figure out the hands. Let's see. Okay, I remember the short hand is the hour hand. So we're going to put the short hand pointing to the 10. And then because it's o'clock, 0 minutes, the long hand, the minute hand's going to go straight up again.
There you go.
Woohoo!
Good job, Max.
Thank you, sir.
All right. How about you give me one?
Ha-ha! Okay. Ready?
I'm ready.
Banana o'clock.
Banana o'clock. Wait a second.
I'm just kidding. All right, so let's see here. How about 1 o'clock?
1 o'clock.
Uh-huh.
See, I naturally just went to the digital clock first because that's what I feel most comfortable with as far as telling time.
Gotcha.
But I can write that underneath the analog clock, 1 o'clock. Okay, so just like you were walking us through it, I know that the hour hand, which is the shorter one, is going to point to the 1. And then the minute hand, all the ones we did today are point to the 12 because that represents 0 minutes.
Boom!
1 o'clock. What do you think, Max?
I think you got it right.
All right, one last one for you guys, okay? Before I tell Max, I'm going to write it down here, and maybe he can't see it.
I won't look. Not looking.
All right,
I'm not
so I
looking.
wrote it down.
Oh, can I look now?
Now you can look.
Okay. Woo! Oh, man. Okay, all right. I got this. Okay, so we know that the hour hand. Actually, let's start with I know this is going to be 12 o'clock, so we'll start with the digital. So we're going to put the 12, and then we're going to put the 2 zeros for the minute space. All right, but now here's the hard part. All right, so I know that it's 12, so the hour hand, the little hand's got to point up to the 12. But because it's o'clock and there's 0 minutes, the minute hand has to point to 12 too.
What?
Woo! This is crazy.
So both of our hands are pointing at the 12?
Up is up. I guess so.
Max, you are absolutely correct.
Woo! Oh, that was a tough one.
So boys and girls, when you have 12 o'clock, not only is your minute hand pointing at the 12, the long one, but the short one is too because that's pointing at the hour, which happens to be 12.
12 o'clock.
Well, Max, that's all the time we have for today.
That was a good one, I tell you what. Man, Mr. Tang, you're the man. Alrighty, boys and girls in first grade, thanks so much for stopping by the Math Homework Helpers How-to Hotline. We hope you are all doing well, and we can't wait to see you soon.